Please welcome on stage Jean-Loïc Michaud.
All right. Thank you so much, Guy. Thank you so much at the whole Coliving team for putting this together. It's incredible. I'm super excited to share my story tonight. So 8 years ago, I moved from a small village in Belgium to the mecca of innovation, San Francisco. But like millions of others going there to follow their dreams, I could barely afford a place to live. And that is why I lived in a co-living space called the Startup House. It was an old dildo manufacturer that was actually transformed into a co-living co-working space for entrepreneurs. I spent 7 weeks there, and it's mind-boggling. I learned more about building a business in 7 weeks living with entrepreneurs than in 3 years of business schools. How powerful that is. And I remember the quote from one of my role models, Nelson Mandela, who said that education is the most powerful tool which you can use to change the world. So let me tell you, what if co-living was the biggest weapon that you can use to change the world? What if co-living was the future of education? During that summer in San Francisco, one of my mentors there asked me a question. Do you know what serendipity means? I never heard of that word before. And he told me, serendipity is what makes Silicon Valley so special. It's the process of innovation. When you are looking for something, but you find something else which is even better. That's how penicillin was found, which helped to improve the life of millions of people around the world. And that word was coined by Horace Walpole in the 18th century. He was a poet from London, and he wrote a legend. It was the adventure of serendipity, where the 3 princes of Serendip were commissioned by their father, the king of Sri Lanka, to go and save the country that were under attacks from the neighboring countries. They went on their mission, and the plan never went as it was planned. But actually, they still managed to save the country, out of luck and by following their intuitions, because they were desperate. And that's how serendipity was born. And I was like, what an incredible story. That's how happiness is created. That's how you meet your wife. That's how you find your business partners. And that's especially what you find in co-living spaces. That's how you build communities, by engineering serendipity. You are an architect of serendipity in co-living spaces. So I became passionate about this word. I was like, this is awesome, I want to do something with it. I didn't know what it was going to be. I started with a SoundCloud channel you can still find. And then it became a party for entrepreneurs. And then it became a networking event for entrepreneurs where we had like yoga, meditation, art workshops. 1 year later, tens of events later, we had built communities in San Francisco of thousands of people. The Serendipia community was born. And 2 years later, I wanted to go back to San Francisco, but still couldn't afford a place to live. So with my friends from the community, we rented a house. And the Serendipia Nest was born. A co-living and co-working spaces for change makers, risk takers, and creators. We provide simply affordable, flexible, and community-centric housing. And with only $50,000 invested, 20 of personal savings and $30,000 from a loan from friends from the community who lived in the house, we generated more than $1 million in revenue. We had a 90% occupancy rate and had 600 members over 5 years from more than 60 countries. So all of this is great. But during the COVID, we faced some difficulties. And at the end of the lockdown, we had to close our rentals. But because something way bigger was awaiting for us. And I realized when I was sitting down in the garage of the house where I was packing all my books and my stuff, I was really sad. And I had some tears in my eyes coming out. I was like, wow, 5 years of incredible memories, friendship were created. That's how I met Guy, the founder of CoLiv, in the house through Renat. And, but I realized that the biggest value, I wrote this text in the garage at that time, which I'm going to read to you. I realized that the biggest value is the hope for a better future that we are creating because we believe in it and called the ones who wanted to make a positive difference in the world. We attracted all the idealists and pragmatic optimists of the world. I have tears in my eyes when I realized the innocence of intentions we put in our house. Serendipia Nest has been a beacon of light for changemakers to come and meet their tribe. To have experienced so much positive energy to better the world and be a witness of souls striving for a better future is the best gift one can get. I'm beyond grateful to be on this lifelong journey. As we are scaling our community building platform, I hope to build better tools to build the tribes we wish existed. And I actually did a scan of this 3 meter out of 2 meter map that was in our house at the entrance of the house. It's called the Happy, Inclusive, Famous Worlds and Global World of Solutioners, Wall of Solutioners, reference to the Wall of Fame in Hollywood, but for solutioners in our house on a poster. The solutioners is how we call the members of Serendipia. There are people who are finding solutions to the world's biggest challenges. And each time they would enter our house, we would take a picture of them with a whiteboard where they would write their name, where they come from, the date they arrived, and one word when they think of Serendipia. And several years later, we have these posters. Many people will summarize our brand to this poster. But managing a bunch of people living together is really hard. So that's why, because onboarding people is repetitive, aligning interests of people around ownership is really difficult, and people misuse facilities all the time. But for us, it comes down to 2 words: community management. We provide structure to organize people's lives. We are building a fractional ownership tool and even a social network to connect the whole ecosystem. Our platform offers the first co-living as a service tool to enable co-living operators and real estate owners to maintain, set up, and share ownership of co-living spaces in a seamless manner. Currently, we are building a blockchain protocol which will allow people to transform rent, which is a liability, into an investment through a tokenized timeshare and fractional ownership, ultimately transforming a liability into an asset thanks to blockchain technology. So to summarize, that has been our company roadmap. In 2016 and 2019, we opened new houses. In 2020, we pivoted, going into Techstars to work on the beta of our platform. We are currently launching our platform and sold already for $250,000 of tokens in our private sale, getting ready to launch our protocol next year. Now, to finish, I want to invite you to close your eyes and imagine. Imagine an education-oriented lifestyle through a global network of decentralized and value-based tribes and communities for a happy, loving, and sustainable future for all the beings in harmony with nature. How do you feel? Do you think that co-living as the future of education can enable this? So, I'm a big burner. I went 3 times to Burning Man, and it has been a huge inspiration for the buildings of the governance principles of the whole company. This is one of my favorite art pieces there, Dream, that you can see at the sunrise there during the week of Burning Man. So I want to invite you all to dream and imagine what that world can look like. You can scan the QR code to send me a text if you want to continue the discussion. Thank you so much.
Woo! Congratulations. Thank you again, JLo, for sharing your story. And I find it always really inspiring to see, you going to SF and making out of a problem an opportunity and then going to this whole journey.